That I can solve multi-step one variable equations involving proportions. Read together. 1, 2, 3. I can solve multi-step one variable equations involving proportions. So today we're doing the second part of that lesson because we started that last week. We need to finish this one this week, and I have good news for you guys, by the way. I thought I was not going to be able to give you guys a quarter exam before the deadline, but we are going to have one. Yay! Yes. Yes. All right, good. Be nice. So we're still on the same concept, so we don't need a Freyer model because we already know what one variable equations are. Is that correct? So we don't need the Freyer model. How about the steps? What steps are we using? Simplify, isolate, plot, and check. We're still using the same process. So just a recap of what we saw last week. We covered some terminology. We covered some problems, work problems that involve rates, ratios, and so on and so forth. And skeletons and stuff, yes. We covered proportions, is that correct? And then stuff that look like this, yes? And then we got to this part. So before I get to that part, copy this one, example 3b. G plus 3 over 5 equals 7 over 4. Should be able to do these by yourself, even in your sleep, I believe. Yeah. All right. Copy that and solve, please. You have 40 seconds. Go. All right, let's see. It says, solve the proportion and check your answer. All right, very good. So, here it goes. I'm pretty sure you guys did cross multiplication starting with a variable. This is 4G plus 12 equals 35. Hands if you got it to right there. Okay? From there, subtract 12. We get 4G equals 23. And then from there at the end, we divide by 4, giant 1, G equals 5 and 3/4, or 5.75. Hands if you got that. Okay? All right, but we're still not done, right? What does it say? So I'm going to check our answers, and you should have checked yours too. So G plus 3 divided by 5 equals 7 over 4. So instead of G, I'm going to use this value. Which one should I use, the mixed number or the decimal? Okay, decimal, 5.75 plus 3 over 5 equals 7 over 4. Let's see. 5.75 plus 3, that's 8.75 over 5 equals 7 over 4. All right, let's see. 8.75 divided by 5. It's in there once. Subtract, that's 3. Bring down the 7. It's in there 7 times. 35, subtract, that's 2. Bring down the 5, so this is 5. And we're done. So this is 1.75. Is that equal to 7/4? Well, let's find out. 7 divided by 4 fits in there once. Subtract, that's 3, add a decimal and a 0. Fits in there 7 times, 28. Subtract 2, bring down another 0. Fits in there 5 times, yep, 1.75. And we got that. Okay, good. So we got these, yes? Cross multiplication, proportions, yes? Yes, Mr. Q. All right, so check this out. Look at this one. Word problem. Don't copy this. Just pay attention. Look up to the screen. And we'll set up our rate, and then we'll simplify this. It says, Ralph Lau, focus please, of Germany flipped a pancake. Check this one out. Flipped a pancake 416 times in 120 seconds to set the world record. Yes. No. We still have more other things to look for. So let's see. Find the unit rate. First of all, it says here that he flipped a pancake 416 times in how many seconds? So let's write this one down. Write example 4A. You don't have to copy the word problem, but I do want you to set up your rate. What is the rate? 416 over what? 120. So this is how much he flipped, and this is in seconds. Okay. Now let's set up our proportion. Equal to blank, because they want us to find the unit rate. So which one is going to become 1? The 416 or the 120? 120, because we want to find out how many times he flipped it in how many seconds. In 1 second. So do we know how many times he flipped it? No, that's where we label it X. Therefore, let's cross multiply, starting with the variable. This is 120X equals 416. Line down the equal sign. Let's see, divide by 120, divide by 120. X equals 416 divided by 120. How many times does it fit in there? 3. That's 360. Subtract, that's 56. Add a decimal and a 0. Because it says here round to the nearest what? 100. Okay. Bring down the 0. Fits in there how many times? 4. 4. That's 480. Subtract, that's 80. Add another 0. 120 fits into 800. 6 times, okay. 6 times 12 is 72. Subtract. What do you guys notice? So if we were to round it to the nearest hundredth, what shall I write? Approximately what? 300th. The decimal next to the digit next to the decimal is the 10th, and this one is the 100th. So this is 3.47. What? Let's answer the question. Find the unit rate of what? Okay, so what would you write in a sentence? Ralph Lau tell your name. What would you write? Ralph Lau what? Let's see, Vanya, what do you write? Flipped the pancake. Okay. Flip the pancake. Three point 3.47 times in 1 second. 10 cubed. So that's 3.47 times, almost 4 flips in 1 second. Let's see. Let's try it. Get your pencil like this. Imagine it's the little spatula that they use for. Ready? I'm gonna count 1 Mississippi. See how many times you can do the flip. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1 Mississippi. No. Some of you only flipped it like twice. He flipped it 3, almost 4 times in 1 second. Okay. Okay, here it goes again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1 Mississippi. No, just go like this. Look at Eric. Eric hacked it. There it is. I don't know. So yeah, so that, any questions on unit rate? Fairly simple, yes? Guys? Guys? Okay, thank you. So any questions on unit rate? We got this, yes? All right. So with that said, that brings us, let's see, do this one by yourself. It says, find the unit rate, round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. So copy this one. Example 4B. Corey earns $52.50 in 7 hours. Write your rate. From there, make it a proportion, and find me the unit rate. Ready, go. Wow, be nice. All right, Allison, help me out. How do I set up my rate? What did you write? Hands if you got that. Okay, not bad. And then we cross multiply. This is 7x equals 52.50. Then we do inverse operations. Divide by 7. Divide by 7. X equals to what, Allison? $7.50. And what did you write for your statement, for your answer? $7.50 each hour. 10Q. Hands, have you got that? I know, right? Well, for this problem, yes. $10. Yeah, the other day I had some kids, they went over, somebody knocked on my house, and then they're like, excuse me, we wanted to see if you have anything for us to do, because we're trying to save money to buy our mom a gift. I'm like, oh. So I said, and they were like, I think, I want to say they were in 6th grade, maybe 5th grade, and it was two. I guess they were BFFs because they were in bikes. Each one had their bike, and they were going around the neighborhood. So I said, okay, fine. So I said, all right. So then I said, can you help me out right here? I have a little patio, and there's like stuff to take out, like little grass in between the rocks and so help me take off the grass and all this and that. And then I said, and then you can be over here in the plant to take off all the weeds and stuff like that. So they were doing that. And then I went inside, got them some flaming hot Cheetos, and then something to drink because it was kind of hot for them. You know, like, and they knocked again. Like 5 minutes later, and they're like, yeah, we're done. I'm like, okay. So I went to see, and it's still all like messed up. I'm like, no, there's still like weed between the rocks, and take it all out. Nothing left. Oh, okay. So then they did at it again. So after half an hour, they're like, okay, we're done. I'm all fine, whatever. So I said, just throw away the stuff, and I gave each one of them $10 for half an hour. Can you believe that? Yes, get an A on the quarter, partake. Bam. Anyways, any questions with unit rate? We got this, yes? All right, this takes us to this next part. Writing utensils down, look up, please. Look up, focus. Now, once again, once we get to a certain concept, I like to break down the actual term so you understand what it means. Now, in the past, you probably have seen percentages, yes? A lot of you love percentages. So, I like to break down the terms to understand what we're looking at. So here we go. The word percent is 2 words in one. It's not only one word. So check this out. The word percent comes from the first part, which is per, which means multiply by or times. And the symbol that we use is that. Are we there so far? So this part, we already know. Who's heard of the word cent before? Now, a lot of you might not know, but there's these little things that look like this. Check this out. Yeah, believe it or not, you no longer, you're like, what? I always pay with my phone. No. These are pennies, also known as cents. Why are they known as cents? Because the word cent means that it's 0.01 or 1/100. So you're like, oh, that makes sense. Get it? Sense? Because in a dollar, how many pennies are in a dollar? So if it's only 1 out of 100, that's why it's called a cent. 1/100. You're like, now it makes sense. Yes. Check this out. Look up, please. So, you guys ready? Yes. Therefore, if I was to say this replaces the word percent. Or whenever you see the symbol, this one, think of times 1/100. So you're saying, okay, so what are you saying, Mr. Q? What I'm saying is that what if I said 25%? 25. Do we know what the symbol represents? What does it represent? Times 1/100. So this is written as 25 times 1/100. Do we know how to multiply this? Yes, this will be 25 over 100, and we can reduce. Okay? So, also, a quick recap. Some of you already saw this before. Look up to the screen. Who's heard of the term part over whole equals percent over 100? Some of you. Some of you saw it a different way. Is over of equals percent over 100. Who remembers that one? Okay. You're like, no. So, what I want you to do, I want you to copy this proportion is over of equals percent over 100. And let me clear this up. Is over of equals percent over 100. Copy that, please. All right. So, is over of equals percent over 100. And this is just a shortcut as to how to set up percentage problems. Now check this out. If you notice, look up, the percentages are on the right side of your proportion. You guys see that? And on the left side, we just have amounts. So let's see. Let's apply this to a word problem. Copy this one. Example 5. It says, find 30% of 80. Copy that, please. Find 30% of 80. So, what was the proportion that we wrote? Is over of equals percent over 100, right? So here goes the process. Let's do this one together. Whenever you get to a problem, a word problem that has percentages, I want you to write blank over blank equals blank over 100. Are we there? All right. I'm going to start with what they give us. What do they give us? Let's see. 30%. According to our proportion, where should I put that? On top of the 100. So that goes right there. Next. What else do they give us? Of 80. I write that in blue so you can see it in the proportion. Where should that go? In the bottom, that's 80. Therefore, since we don't know what that number is, we're going to write what? X, and now we can cross multiply. So, I'm going to start with the variable. X times 100 is 100x equals 80 times 30, that's 2400. Do we know how to solve this? Yes. Divide by 100, divide by 100. So therefore, let me get rid of some zeros, and we're left with x equals 24. And let's answer the question. The question was find 30% of 80. So what would be our statement? Everyone. 30% of 80 is 24. 10 cubed. Pretty simple. Once again, what is the proportion that was given? Is over of equals percent over 100. 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 Tell your neighbor the proportion, please. Copy this one, example 5B. Focus. Example 5B says, 230 is what percent of 200? 230 is what percent of 200? I'll give you a head start so you can set up your proportion. See if you can do that by yourself. Or here, let me help you with the first part. Here it goes. Blank equals blank over 100. There you go. Woo. Allison, what is our proportion? No, the one that we memorized. Is over of. Okay. Do they give us the is? Yes, so that one goes over. Do they give us the of? Yes, and that goes here. What's the only thing they don't give us? Percent. That's why they label it what percent. So this is what? X. Cross multiply. This is 200x equals 23,023. Bam. What a trip on. Oh, it comes up a lot. Divide by 200. Divide by 200. X equals, I'm going to get rid of some zeros. This one, this one. 230 divided by 2 is, very good, 115. So what would be our statement? Eric, go. Hold on. Let's start it off the way it's written. 230 is 115% of 200. 10 cubed. Hands if you got that. Okay? Fairly simple? Yes? Hopefully for tonight is play sheet 2-5. There is tutoring today, so come grab one on your way up over here. If I don't see you in tutoring, see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your home play. Bye.